jumping into today's episode. This is Deidre speaking, and this is Monica, per usual. Let's get into the outfits first.
Oh.
What were you about to say?
I was saying we got entertaining story.
Oh, yeah, we
for
definitely
you
have
guys
a story
from the
time.
store.
Yeah.
Speaking of the store, we are wearing clothes from.
We're saying the store. So, I own a clothing store called Oxymoron Fashion House, which you can follow on social media, Instagram, which is Oxymoron Fashion House, and TikTok, which is Oxymoron Fashion House. Keep in mind, my TikTok is ran by my 9-year-old niece. So, if you want an adult to respond to you, definitely reach out through Instagram. If you want a child to respond to you, then you might have an issue. Please see someone.
But that's smart.
Yeah, because I cannot.
Kids love, like, they know TikTok. So.
She knows TikTok very well, and I am monitoring it though. But yeah, for sure. So yeah, Oxymoron Fashion House, we are both wearing outfits from today. I'm wearing this two-tone half and half blazer. For those of you who are just listening and not part of our YouTube channel or membership, I am wearing a half and half blazer, which is half white with black stripes and half black, all black. It's a very cute blazer. Love the half and half look. I'm also wearing a super long braided ponytail that goes to the floor. I'm 5'9", by the way. And my ponytail that goes to the floor, I also wove measuring tape through it. So in my braided ponytail, you can see.
Oh, you sewed that in here?
No, I just mean like when you braid it, you wove it through. I don't know what the wording should be. But yeah, it's definitely locked in there. It's braided in there with the braided measuring tape. It's giving Oxymoron, it's giving fashion house, fashion designer, fashion mogul.
Love the idea.
Yeah. I went to a event on Saturday, and just randomly to spin off topic, but anytime I go to an event, especially a networking event or fashion event, conference, whatever, where I want people to speak to me first before I speak to them, I always wear something crazy or do something weird with my hair that makes people think of fashion when they think of me, or ask me about it. So again, with me wearing a super long braided ponytail, everyone stopped me and was like, "Oh my god, I love your hair! Oh my god, what's that in your hair? Oh my god, is that measuring tape? Oh my god, it's so cute! What do you do?" And then, so if I'm ever nervous or feeling like maybe I don't want to network that day or something, or maybe I feel nervous, it to me gives me an edge to speak to people because they always speak to me first. And I already know they have good taste because they're coming up to me because they like my outfit or like what I'm wearing or like my hair. And it just makes it easier because if you're just like, if you dress like everyone else, look like everyone else, it's no reason for people to come up and talk to you or start a conversation. But whenever I do this, which now I do it at every event, I always start conversations with, everyone always starts conversations with me. Even the speakers always start conversations with me because they always love what I'm wearing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's different for me. Like, I like doing, like, weird stuff, like, crazy weird stuff, right? But I stopped because I don't like the attention.
Right.
It's like, backwards.
Yeah.
So.
For me, I feel like at those events, I need the attention because if I'm there to network, I need something extra to give me the reason to network. Because I can't not network if everybody talking to me because they love my outfit.
Right.
You know? So... And of course, that could create a new customer for me or a new business opportunity. Yeah.
But you always like, you can talk to people.
Yeah.
Me, I'll just be like,
yeah, you gotta get out of that.
Yeah.
As a business person, for sure. I mean,
I seen something on social media that was like, imagine being an introvert. Imagine being an entrepreneur and an introvert at the same time. And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I would be farther in life if I wasn't so shy.
Yeah. I mean,
I might need to do that though.
I think you should.
But I did it.
Should.
I did it, and I don't like it.
Yeah, because you're
like I wanna dye my hair, right?
Yeah.
But I'm stopped. I'm like, don't really want to do it because I know everybody about to be like,
I love
Same,
it.
yeah. But it's just like,
Get
it's
into
so
it.
cute. I know. And then, I'm going on topic, but I bought this eyebrow kit.
Which I love your eyebrows today, by the way. They look really nice.
Thanks. So I bought this eyebrow kit, whatever. Mind you, I never do my makeup, nothing. So I just started doing my eyebrows every day. The eyebrow kit is really good. From Nick Townsend. Buy it. Free promo. But it's really, he's a genius. Like, but I didn't really do great today because I was rushing. But like when I really sit down and do them, like they look really nice. And I kind of just bring in like all this attention from my eyebrows.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just like, don't want to do my eyebrows today.
Oh my god. Oh my. So now you don't want to do your eyebrows anymore because it brings you too much attention? You are a psycho.
But I love how my eyebrows look.
They look really nice.
But
you don't want people to compliment you.
Yeah.
Ooh, child. I'm sure a lot of our listeners can relate to both.
Right.
You know, being introverted.
That's good that we're so different.
Yes.
And we on the show.
For sure.
And
because different perspectives.
yeah.
For me though, I'm a ham when I go to certain events. You know,
That's smart though. Like,
when I go to everyday things, like when I go to the store, I'm just wearing like Adidas free promo. I wear Adidas all the time.
free promo.
I wear Adidas all the time. Just an oversized shirt, some Adidas tights, Adidas sneaks, like.
But I like it. I like when you
just regular.
Look regular, nobody bother you.
Nobody bothers me. But if I'm going to
an event, you want to be bothered.
I want to be. I need to be bothered. It has to be worth it. I paid for a ticket to this.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I need to, in order to make it worth it, which it has always been worth it. In order to make it worth it for me to pay $500 or $1,000 or $300 for a conference or a networking event, I need to be standing out and making connections, and it just makes it easier to make connections when that happens.
Yeah.
You didn't talk about what you're wearing. What are you wearing?
Same.
Oxymoron fashion house, girl.
I know that, but you described it.
Oh my god.
I don't know. It's fox leather.
It's introvertness.
It's brown. Fox leather.
Faux leather.
Oh.
See, that's FAUX.
That's why.
Faux leather.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. See, that's why I said you do it.
And
I'm not embarrassing myself.
No, because again, a lot of people think this way.
Okay, that's how you, okay.
FAUX is pronounced faux. It's French. Like, also when people say like haute couture, but it's haute couture, HAUTE, it's pronounced haute. So it's haute couture. A lot of people don't know that either. So it's not even, it's normal.
Me, a fashion designer, don't know that.
So there you go. Exactly. It is not like literally so many people do the same thing. It's just that
you describe it.
it's a faux leather brown luxury button up collared shirt. You can wear it as a jacket or as a shirt. I've seen a customer tie a waist belt around it and wear it with like faux leather shorts. Really cute with knee-high boots. Super cute outfit. Just really like interchangeable, which you can do with the look in it. So I really do love this faux leather button up. Okay, oversized faux leather button up.
I love it. It looks really nice.
But let's jump into the main topic today. What are we getting into, Z?
Monica took a trip to Dubai.
Yes.
For a month.
For a month, I took a trip to the Maldives and then Dubai. So I went to the Maldives for 1 week and then Dubai for 3 weeks. And we're going to pretty much talk about how that went business-wise.
What you deserve though? You deserve a vacation.
For sure. I've never in my life taken a vacation that long. Which was like weird for me. I had never, so number one, I didn't even buy my flight back. Which I don't think I've ever done that before, but knowing me, I have done it before. I think maybe once when I was 21, I did buy my flight back before. But it was only because I was on a trip with a boy and a man. And he was buying the flight back. Either way, since I've opened my business, I have never taken a vacation that long. And I kind of just felt like I earned it. I worked really hard this this year, the first half of the year, the trip was in August, basically the whole month of August. It was, I left July 25th, I came back August 24th. And so pretty much how I set up that trip, or before that trip, for people who this might be your first episode, I am an evening wear designer. I specialize in gowns, wedding gowns, prom gowns, birthday events, more luxury things. Women's suiting, pants, dresses, skirts, all of those luxury items for special events. And before I left, I had maybe 9 orders that altogether had a majority of it done except for one. Or what I felt like was the majority of them done. And so all of those custom orders, mind you, I have people that come into the store just to buy off the rack. But for those 9 custom orders, I started each order, let's say put the dress together, but it needed a zipper and buttons, or it needed a hem and a diamond piece, or stuff like that. So each of those 9 orders I left in the care of Asia here, who is my second in command at my store, and went on the trip. So while I was on the train, which actually before I left for the trip, I should mention that. Before I left for the trip, we did kind of go over each look. Deasia works in the store with me every week, so she kind of knows our customers and knows the process of each all the garments that we make. Like, they're all pretty much the same over and over. For most dresses or most things that need applique or hems or whatever. And we went over each look on what each customer needed before I left. But then when I journeyed to JFK, which was like a 2-hour train ride, I made sure that I wrote down each customer's name, what was in their order, what was left that needed to be done. So under each customer's name, I did like 3 bullet points, like, okay, this dress, which is the blue dress hanging up on the fitting room, needs 1, 2, and 3. This dress for this customer needs 1, 2, and 3. And I did that for each of the 9 orders. What's another thing that I did to prepare? I definitely wrote down, and of course, don't recommend this. Again, because Deasia has worked at the store for so long, I don't necessarily feel the need to say certain things to her, but I do recommend that store owners already have lists throughout their store, or systems in place where a sales associate or store manager can pop up and look like, okay, this needs to be done cleaning every day. This needs to be done with customers every day. This needs to be done in this part of the store every day. I think that should already be within a file system that you have in place, so that everybody who works for your store knows what you expect of how it should be done every day, or who works in your sewing studio, whatever kind of setup you have. I think that should be already made before you leave. But I just randomly wrote an extra list of it on notes and sent it to her while I was on the train ride to the airport. So made my journey through the airport. In day 1, hour 1, before I even left, I had a client who, when I was leaving for the airport, was in the store and doing her first fitting. And that particular client, I guess, was maybe upset that I wasn't the one doing her fitting already from the gate. And what I did not know or wasn't aware of, well, number 1, my trip was moved up a day. It was supposed to be the following day when I was leaving for the airport, but what I didn't realize was between the time difference that would have me landing in the Maldives on the wrong day. So anyway, I had to move it up a day. And that was why that customer had a fitting with Zeee instead of me. However, I prepared her for the fitting before I left anyway. But that customer was upset that Zeee was doing her fitting instead of me, which I guess happens, but I didn't think too much of it. But when I got to the airport, actually when I got off the first flight, because I had a connecting flight.
That was day 1?
That was day 1.
I thought that was day 2.
Remember when I was leaving for the airport?
She was there.
She was there.
But I didn't know she took you that fast.
Yeah, so by the time I had landed and for my layover, I got a message from her, which was paragraphs long, saying that she was upset that you were doing the fitting instead of me, and how could I leave town for so long. Mind you, I never told this customer how long I was leaving. However, she happened to overhear a conversation between me and someone else a couple weeks prior when I was in the fabric store, and she said to me within those messages that not only was she listening to my conversation with someone else, but was in turn upset that I would take a vacation while she had an order being worked on. Which to me, I mean, I guess maybe that happens between customers, custom clients, but I just felt like that was disrespectful. Like that was super disrespectful, because this customer literally sent me like a 17-paragraph message about how it was so rude of me to go on vacation while they had an order that was due 2 months later. Meanwhile, your order is due in 2 months and it will still be done on time. But they were very upset that I would take a vacation, let alone a longer vacation, than what they felt like was necessary for me in my personal life to take. And they were upset that somebody else's hands would be working on the dress outside of my own. And I kind of addressed it as, you know, I am a business, I am a company, and people work under me. I don't know if you know, but most companies, the person who owns it is not the one necessarily working on it. Like, you are not going to get mad if you get food at a restaurant and the top chef isn't the one who prepared the food. You know the cooks in the kitchen made it, right? So even if you're going because it's a certain chef's restaurant, you understand that people work for them. So that was really like insulting to me, but of course I responded with grace. You know, I'm sorry you feel that way. Your order will still be done on time, ahead of schedule, as planned. You know, there will be no hiccups within your order, and when I come back, that is when we'll have our final fitting for whatever. So just look out for hiccups like that, designers. If you do have custom orders, I don't know if this is something that people normally do. However, several of my customers did it. I wouldn't say several, I would say 3 out of the 9 customers had issues with the fact that I went on vacation, which I honestly just think is because my customers are spoiled. I think it's because I give too much good quality customer service, and they expect me to be the one that does everything, which at some point is unrealistic, and I think this is that point. Either way, I go on vacation, and throughout my first the first week of the Maldives trip, I don't think there were any issues that I can think of, but that first half, for me, that first week, and Deasia will give her side of what was happening back at the store, which was also a little bit crazy, but the first week I think was cool because the sugar hadn't hit the fan yet.
I think every day was crazy.
You think every day was crazy?
Yeah, every week was crazy.
Back home.
Yeah, back home.
Okay. For me, within the first week, there was a particular dress, which was like a ball gown Cinderella type dress. And I had asked one of my other seamstresses who works at the store, kind of on a quarterly basis, to work on this particular gown because I knew this wasn't as much of Deasia's specialty as it was the other seamstresses. So I had literally sent her a step-by-step guide via sketch, how to put this together, because I had already, again, did most of the work, but I just needed her to put the 3 pieces together and then add pleats or something. So I feel like within that first week is when
That was the week. That was the first week.
that was the first week. The issue with the other seamstress.
I don't know. I think that was early.
That was early, but I don't think it was while I was in the Maldives. For me, looking back in the Maldives, I felt peaceful. In Dubai, I felt stressed out. So that first week, I felt like went okay, but it was because we didn't have as many like customers coming in for pickups. However, by the time I got to Dubai, 1 weekend of the vacation, I felt like the sugar started hitting the fan. I started getting messages from you that said, you know, this other seamstress brought in the dress back. The customer is already here and doesn't like it, is upset, yada yada. And that made me upset because I had already sent them a guide of how to put it together, and it looked like they completely ignored that guide and just was like, yeah, I'm gonna do what I want, put it together how I think it should be put together, and then give it back without any like mention to me, hey, I couldn't figure this out, or hey, I'm having an issue with this, which it looked like they clearly were having an issue with something. But they just didn't vocalize it. And because almost all of my customers are getting items for special events, it is super personal to them when their order does not come out looking like what they expect it to look like. It's one of those things where almost every customer will cry if it's wrong. Like nothing that I make for my customer is not important, which puts an added stress on me a lot of times, but I'm not like a stressed out type person, so it doesn't really get to me. I just make sure that my work is quality work. But either way, the customer now has the order on, they're very upset, and now I have to go back to that seamstress. And keep in mind, I'm in Dubai. I have to go back and forth messaging to that seamstress, like, what's going on? Why didn't you vocalize that you're having an issue with this order? This customer is very upset. There's really nothing I can do. I'm out the country. Can you resolve this?
But I didn't do that either though. Like I understand why she didn't do that.
You understand why she didn't do what?
Like vocalize she said no problem.
Yes, you didn't vocalize that either. That also made me upset. So I think by the second week in Dubai, I think I had cried at least like 3 days. Like literally.
Why didn't you vocalize it? It seemed like you was fine.
How could I be fine when all of my customers were messaging me that the people who work for you are giving us crazy looking garments? Like literally I was getting text messages every day like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I just tried on this and it looks horrible. Or hey, I don't know what's going on, I thought I was picking up today, but nothing's done. Hey, I don't know what's going on, but da 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 da. It was like a message like that every day, every hour. And of course I can't do nothing because I'm out of the country, but also I'm texting y'all and y'all texting me, good morning, how you doing? How's your day going? As if everything's going good with the clients. And so that was like literally making me upset. Like the person who I was on the trip with was literally like consoling me for like 3 days straight.
Do you want to get that part? You on the trip with me?
I mean, no, I have friends in Dubai.
What second is it?
But yeah, it was just like they were like, why aren't these people who work for you putting out the same quality of work that they were doing before you left? And I could also not understand that. I was like, when I'm here, maybe I'm walking you guys through each thing too much. Like maybe you guys are too dependent on me either finishing it if y'all are taking too long, or just being like, oh, it's fine, if you couldn't do it, I'll just fix it, or maybe y'all aren't really paying attention as much when y'all do things when I'm there because you know it'll get fixed. I didn't know what was going on, but it just seemed like as soon as I left, the things that I felt like were easy to do, like put a zipper in, or add an applique, or add feathers or buttons on something, which I felt like were really simple things to do that you guys do all the time, none of those things got done. So I was just really upset for several days because it's like, at this point I'm gonna refund almost $2,000 to $3,000 worth of orders because I don't know, these things aren't being done, and these customers have these really big events, and you know, whatever. At the end of the day, it's on me. It doesn't matter whose fault it is or who didn't put the buttons on or whatever. At the end of the day, they spent their money in my store. I have to refund the money, whatever. So that's what was going on week 2. I think week 3, either week 2 or week 3, again, I got a customer calling me. Of course, I ignored them the first couple times because I'm out the country, so I shouldn't have to respond to customers because, again, like I also gave all the customers your information because I either wasn't going to always have access to service, But also you were the one in the store who could answer any questions about when they needed to do pickups or whatever. But I got a call from a particular customer who was literally crying. Like, you know, they had an item that was being produced for a wedding. And they were just really upset. They, again, just was really upset to the point where, you know, while I never cry, and if I do, it takes a lot. And of course, I wasn't gonna cry on the phone with her because whatever. But this particular customer was a great reoccurring customer. Always spends their money with me, and the fact that their order for their wedding, the day before their wedding, wasn't ready, wasn't about to be ready, was really disappointing because it was just like that whole week prior. Even me going through the messages, nothing was ever communicated that the order wasn't being worked on or didn't come out well, or like none of these seamstresses who had issues working on products told me while they were working on the product. They only told me once the customer complained. So that was really like annoying. So that was like the second time I got really upset on vacation. I think after that I decided mentally, you know, maybe one of these customers would set my store on fire and then I could just be free of this business. That's really what I was thinking. I was like, because it was very like, and I don't want to keep saying like, but it was very hurtful to me that I left what felt like a couple simple things to be finished before I left, and none of those things got done, and none of those customers were happy, and all of them needed a refund. So I learned as a business owner, especially as somebody who not only works on their business but in their business, that it's crucial to make sure whether you got a double check, triple check, quadruple check, everything is done and will be done in high quality when you leave, before you leave. For me, I will never do that again. Never, ever, ever will I have custom orders being worked on that are not fully done before I leave. Because for me personally, that was really like heartbreaking. Like I was heartbroken that ended up that way for each individual client. And I think another lesson that I learned was that these people who work for me really don't either trust vocalizing what's going on with me, or I really couldn't figure out why they weren't communicating with me effectively about what was going on before the customer saw what was going on. Because if I didn't hear it from them, of course I want to hear it from the customer. So not that I learned how to fix that, but I feel like that's the next step in my business is like, well, whether I feel like that person who works for me, sales associate, seamstress, manager, whatever, is cool communicating with me or not, I need to be 100%, 300% sure that that communication is going to be effective if I'm leaving. But again, I'm never gonna have a situation like that again, because I'm never gonna leave custom orders with anyone again because I'm traumatized. But I just feel like that was a learning lesson for me. Like custom orders with my clients cannot be left undone before I go anywhere, unless I change a lot of things in my business. Make that business.
I see.
Yeah. I also think another lesson that I learned was that I need to just be more clear and have more systems in place way before I go anywhere. You know, I think that even creating the list of what needs to be cleaned in the store every day before I left for the trip, like that was super last minute and something that could have been in place years ago. I do the same thing in the same steps every day. You know, open the store, put out the A sign, flip the sign to open, sweep the store, clean the mirrors. Like those types of systems and steps is clear. And it is written down somewhere. I just don't know where it is. And I think that after having you in particular in the store for so long, I just didn't feel like I needed to write that down because you see me do the same things all the time. But I do feel like as a business owner, especially as a small business owner, you don't think that you need all these little things written down, and you do. When you work for a company like Macy's or Forever 21 or whatever, you literally have to go through a checklist every single morning and a checklist every single night before you open and before you close. And those same systems need to be in place for small businesses too. So definitely that. Other than that, I did have a couple other instances, but I want to hear your side of the story before I continue or jump in. Let me know. So, what is your side of the story, Deja? What was happening back home?
I think you said, yeah, I think we're about to talk about like the same problem.
No, go through. So day one.
No, I'm thinking about to say like the same things like what we learned.
Okay, but yeah, go through the experience before you go through what you learned.
Okay, so
Day one, I was leaving out the store with my suitcase basically, and the customer was with you. What happened?
I think I need to talk about that before. Like before that.
Okay.
Okay, so you mentioned that you was going away to Dubai or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like it was like a communication thing. I didn't know that you was leaving me with like so many orders. So like you asked if I wanted to run the store or whatever. I felt like, I'm not sure, but I feel like I said no. I feel like I feel like I said like completely no, but I said like, okay, no, like not too much. Like I feel like I remember us saying like Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Right.
commission,
Agreed.
right?
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes. And literally, that's what I thought was being done when I left.
No,
I literally thought she was.
on.
I thought that Deja was only in the store those 3 days. You never told me until I think the second week. Like, no, I've been here every day, and I was like confused. Like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah, cause you left like a lot. You left a lot. I don't think you think it's a lot because like you sew every day. Like and you've been sewing for like years, so it's like a system for you. I don't know, like.
Yes.
So like, say if like, I don't know, like, you sewing, you run into a problem, right?
Mhm.
You've been sewing for so long, so you never problem solve.
Mhm.
Like, but like me, I don't know. Like it's gonna. I think if something take you 3 hours, it's gonna take me 6.
Mhm.
Like you pristine, cause you like you in the system, like you gotta be here, like you know.
Mhm.
But like yeah, so it took me like a long time to learn everything. So I just knew not to go home, go to sleep, or like I just knew like to wake up, get there early, or like. So I knew not to like not be there. Like I know it's supposed to be Thursday through Saturday, but I knew not to do that
Mhm.
because it was a lot. Like, and I know we talked about it, but I remember you mentioning